let's do this. You are all set. Have a good meeting.
Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody to the Scituate Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion meeting of Tuesday, September 13th. It is 6:32 p.m. Due to Governor Baker's declaration of a public health emergency and the related emergency executive order dated March 12th, that has been March 12th, 2020, that has been subsequently extended until March 31st, 2023. We continue to meet remotely. This meeting will be recorded by Scituate Community Television and can be viewed live on Scituate Community Television Facebook Live. The recorded meeting will be available the following day on Comcast Channel 9 and YouTube Scituate Community Television. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and read our commitment statement, and then I will call the roll. This is a safe, secure space for all people, especially people of color, and for all underrepresented people and communities. This is a space where people can bring up challenges and questions without fear. We will assume best intentions, and we will treat one another with politeness and respect at all times. This committee is dedicated to these standards. We want our members and others joining our meetings to feel welcomed and respected. Okay, so with that, I will call the meeting to order. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, so I will call the roll. Ms. Galata.
Yes, here.
Ms. Yassine.
Yes, here.
Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay. Welcome, Lillian. Sorry, it's gotten very warm in my house all of a sudden. So let's go ahead and I mean, Lillian, interrupt, ask questions. You know, you and I can catch up offline, and I can get you up to speed on a lot of the stuff that we talk about. We try to keep the meetings as close to an hour as possible. We all have busy lives, some of which have very young children, which you probably already picked up on. So we're sensitive to that. All right. So Ruth has sent out, I believe we have two, both August 2nd and August 16th minutes to approve, because we met back to back there. And thanks again, Ruth, as always. Let's just take them one by one. August 2nd, does anyone have any commentary upon the review, assuming that you were able to review? Okay, I don't either. So I will move to, we'll just take them one by one. I'll just move to accept these minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Ms. Galata.
Yes.
Ms. Yassine.
Yes.
Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay. August 16th minutes. Does anyone have any feedback, revisions, commentary for Ruth? Okay, we're moving quick. All right, so I will move to accept these minutes. Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay.
Was that Angela?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Calling the roll. Ms. Galata.
Yes.
Ms. Yassine.
Yes.
Reverend Stewart.
Yes.
Ms. Dre.
Yes.
Ms. Cruz.
Yes.
And I am a yes. Okay, excellent. All right, so I think as I mentioned before we opened the call, Maura Curran is not able to attend. She is traveling this week. In terms of next Monday is the special town meeting. Just FYI. No more brown water, I believe is the hot topic. I'm not sure if there's any other commentary on the special town meeting from anyone that they want to bring up. Okay. I'm trying to think of anything else that's been going on with the select board lately. We've yet to reschedule. We'll get into it, but we've yet to reschedule our kind of presentation on Indigenous Peoples Day with the select board. I think we're going to take our time with that. I want to get into that a little bit and probably look to get some meetings scheduled to kind of reorganize the team, get the school involved like we had started to do in the spring and so on. But I don't have anything else there. So in terms of liaison reports and so forth, since we just touched on the schools, Jamil, welcome back. School is in session. How's it going so far?
What's up, everybody, and welcome aboard, Lillian. You were a great family of folks who just care tremendously about the community and Scituate and all the efforts that they were bringing people together. So welcome. Definitely kicked off. The students' energy is just incredible. It really was a great opening. All of the principals just reported having a really good feeling as the doors opened up. As I've been able to make my way through all the schools, it's been feeling really strong and a lot of great energy. All of the schools, the lit teams are getting back in action. So it's good that those are continuing on. We're experiencing our first, sort of matriculation of lit teams in between schools. For example, there were fifth graders who were on the lit teams in the elementary schools. And so they graduated to go to Gates. And so they come in already ready to do the lit team energy and that work efforts rather. And then in the middle school, so, the middle school is recipients of that energy. So we're already starting, this wave of energy in that regard. So, 3 more years and then we'll have, everyone to be in the mix. So that journey is taking place. In regards to the Indigenous Peoples Day, I know I can share that there was an early meeting of the anti-racism organization at the high school, and folks are already talking about trying to get some more energy and signatures. Not that it's needed anymore, but they still remain committed to trying to be of assistance. So, and that was, school started on Wednesday. Thursday there was the meeting. So that's good energy right there for that. There should be some messaging going out probably this week, but sharing that This Is Our House is happening again at all the schools. So that gathering of folks is happening at every school. It'll start next week. Whereas on Monday, it takes place Monday at Hatherley, Tuesday at Wampatuck. And then Friday is in the morning, it'll be Cushing, and then in the afternoon, it'll be Jenkins. And then the following week on the 28th, it'll be the middle school, and then on the 29th, the high school. But all the elementary schools, as long as the weather works out, will be outside as they were last year. There's rain locations inside, but the hope is that it can be outside. And for the middle school and high school, it'll take place inside the pack. Let's see, there was good reception from folks from our Boston resident folks regarding the ability to get parking passes. So we'll see how that plays out in the next season. I think that'd be helpful. Our resident students from Boston seem to be in good right now. That's good. We're gonna try to keep it there. If folks remember, the Juneteenth event that we did. You remember you saw some a sorority and a fraternity stepping. Marcavius is actually going to follow through on his wish to start a step team for Scituate. So be on the lookout for that. And my final piece of information I can share right now is that we are in the throes of some final preparations for the equity audit. So that is happening. So yeah, that's what's going on. Right? That's the quick version. I can expand on all of that, but
who runs the equity audit?
I was just going to ask for more on that one.
Who runs it? Meaning there's a company that out party.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess that was. Is it external? Oh. Is it internal? Yeah.
No, it's external. It's a company called PCG. They're very reputable. They went up against 2 other companies, and this was the chosen organization because of the level of meticulous nature that they get into in terms of what we want from it. We get the most out of what we can with it. And if all goes well, that we may do some more things with them. So
is that a mandate, or is that something that you have elected to go forward with?
What do you mean? The equity audit?
It's not. Yeah, it's not mandated by the state that each school district goes through an equity audit, is it? Or is it something that you?
No, No, it's not part of my interruption. No, it isn't. This was before I even interviewed, and as an interview or as a candidate, this was already something I think the town, the Scituate, had decided on. And so one of the goals that I absorbed was to bring this to fruition. And so there was a committee of folks. It started out as one of my goals, became our goal, as our lit committee, the district committee, worked to bring this to this point. And so that's where that came from. I mean, I think many of you are part of the energy that brought it to life, that brought it to a head. And so now we're there.
Has this ever, being like only in Scituate for 2 years, I've never heard of it before. Do you know if it's been done before for the schools, and does it cover all the schools, or is it just one school? Ruth might know. She's sorry, I thought you were responding with your nodding.
Oh, it's for the district. It's for all 6 our district. And let's see.
Had it ever been conducted before?
What did you say? Sorry.
Had it ever been conducted before for the district, or is this our first time doing something like this?
And the closest to it was the Hingham Unity Council did something a couple meaning like maybe literally 2-3 years ago, just before 2020, before COVID and stuff like that. And it's been kind of difficult to get like a full version of what they absorbed from it. But it wasn't like this outside entity that came in and did some things. So that's the closest thing to it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The audit will include opportunities for all members of the district folks to contribute. There'll be students in varying categories, faculty, staff, caregivers, parents as well. So they have a specific outline that they'll ask us to follow, but there's another piece that will allow for other folks who may not be able to fall into the prescription they have to still contribute to the audit. So we can appreciate that. We'll have a multitude of voices. We want to hear from everybody.
And will the results be made public?
Yeah, there'll be a process for that to be shared. Typically, there's something that's produced for the school committee, and then it's determined where it will live and things like that. So yeah, there will be a report.
Okay, that's awesome.
That's great.
I do think we talked about equity audits for different town departments at one point, early days, didn't we? Longtime committee members.
Yes,
Look at Angela,
definitely.
Natasha, and Ruth.
And I think that some
And
of
Bob,
this
of course.
also had come up with the initial committee before we had a DEI director that then kind of helped develop with Superintendent Burkhart what we were looking for. And I think that that may have been the pre-bubbling also, which included some people who've been active in DEI in our community that everybody would know. So again, this is something that kind of, I think, grew from that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I've been here 31 years and I do not know of any wide-ranging equity audit of the schools outside of the things that the schools are mandated to do, which is not, it's not of the equity issues that we're usually thinking of. It's usually MCAS related type things and completely academic.
Okay. All right, well, that's great. Anyone have any other questions for Jamil right now? Okay. Let's see. Ruth, anything from Stride? They're going to get
kind of in
rolling
a sideways way, as something again that's Stride often likes to get out their information. So that, we want to get out information on the fact that the Commission on Disabilities is having an accessibility awareness event. And that is going to be on October 22nd, 10 till 1 at the high school. So I'm sure there will be more things out on that, but they said, why not get this information out now? So accessibility awareness event, October 22nd, 10 to 1.
That's great. Okay. Is Stride going to get roll? Have you guys kickstarted your meetings again, or not?
No, they haven't. And I don't know if they're going to be having regular meetings, or if they will again work on events that are either co-hosting, like they work with Jamil in the library on lit events, and so they might work with other organizations as well. I don't know of that they're planning to do monthly meetings. Again, I think post-COVID, that's kind of waning. The interest in it was kind of going down.
Well, we still reserve the right to steal Gene and others when we
absolutely
have different project teams that we need to form to do things out of this
exactly.
Committee, right?
That's it. I think there's a core group of people who are very committed to DEI efforts in town, but they just are not meeting monthly publicly. But they're still very interested in and want to be active. Okay,
excellent. All right, I don't see any public comment right now, so we'll just keep rolling forward and jump into some of the projects that we're working on. Let's see. Where do we want to start? Since we just talked about it, I'm just going to put you on the spot, Elena, since I don't hear any kids crying in the background or anything. So just since the last meeting, really, I think we've been, talking, mostly through email. There was a quick flurry today about, translation services, and so some of that prompted by a couple of the the print mediums from town that have come out, and just the fact that obviously there is no translation services for the town website, at least not that I'm aware of. So I'm going to stop talking. I'll let Alina talk, and then I'm sure I'll jump in too, because that's just what I do.
Thank you, Tom. I did write some notes out to try to organize my thoughts. I just was inspired by kind of our conversation from our last meeting about the opportunity to explore translation services for the town website, town emails, alerts, whether they come out, again, through email or kind of the written, the mailers, if you will. I think I was especially motivated by the one about the water with the alert for the water that was contaminated for infants. Obviously, it hit close to home for me, given the stage of life that I'm in. So I followed up with Tom and, volunteered to try to explore what this could look like for the town of Scituate. And he very quickly put me in touch with Bob and the school. And so things, I think we've gathered a little bit of information. I did do some Googling on just nearby towns and who maybe has their website, the translation services on their website, and who doesn't, because I don't know if it's relevant, but I was kind of curious. And so Hingham does, and it seems like they use Google Translate. Their logo is right on their website. Quincy does, Randolph does, Plymouth does, also uses Google Translate. Norwell does not, Cohasset does not. And that's as far as I got. Tom had sent me an article about Hopkinton, I think.
You're really not from here, are you?
No. No,
where the marathon.
So I'll name all 5 boroughs and multiple towns in Queens.
Yeah, Hopkinton, they use Google Translate.
Okay, there you go. They use Google Translate as well. And that press release, and we can forward it along, is very eloquently written about standing behind while Google Translate isn't perfect. There's like an, I guess on the website, an option for feedback from the town residents that they can help make the translations better. But at least this is better than nothing. Like, it says it very eloquently, better than I'm describing it. But so anyway, I thought that was just interesting to kind of get like a view of the surrounding towns and like where everyone's at. So I kind of like the overarching goal of this initiative potentially could be enabling translation services for the town of Scituate website and or email alerts, town health notices, weather emergencies, whether they're distributed via email on the website or through mailers. I'm not sure if that's the like word for this, but know what I'm talking about. Why? To ensure town information is accessible by all and important town notices are understood by all, especially when it relates to health and weather alerts. I'm sure there's another very important thing that people need to be able to understand. So I guess that's kind of as far as I got in terms of just like thinking about like what this is and why it's important. And then Bob mentioned 2 people today via email that I'm happy to reach out to that work for the town, Lorraine and Michelle. Yeah, okay. And I think my questions are, has the town of Scituate ever looked into this before? Because obviously if it's already been something we've looked into, we just want to understand like what happened and why maybe it wasn't pursued. If not, would they be open to it, and who would be the decision maker for something like this? I would assume that we would need budget for, maybe it's like a premium subscription to Google Translate that we would need to embed into the town of Scituate, like the website. So that could be some developer work as well. I'm like speaking a little bit above my pay grade, but that's what I assume. And then I don't know on the back end how the town alerts tie into the website. I think there's probably a portal that's being used to generate all of those. So just how would that all work together? And could Google Translate not only do the website hypothetically, but those alerts as well? And I don't know, the answer to that. And then more basically is, if you look at, let's say the Hingham website, right, that uses Google Translate, there's like 36 languages that, it must just be like their pre-populated languages. So, maybe that's something simple to embed on the Scituate website, assuming the town alerts might be more complicated because those are all written in real time and it's not just kind of like a static web page. How would we translate those? And if we had to prioritize languages, do we have that information on what, like besides English, what are the top languages spoken in Scituate to potentially prioritize?
I think we do.
Okay. That's great. I did some like census Googling and it was like, I couldn't quite find anything specific. So I figured I would bring that up here.
Yeah.
And I just jump in just real quick, a quick update on that. So that was today we were exchanging emails and even the Scituate Public Schools has a great translation, link right on their website. So I reached out today to our our IT director and said, you know,
Okay.
what can we do? So today he talked to our web provider. It's Civic Plus is the name of the company.
Okay.
And they actually today added Google Translate to the website.
I feel embarrassed.
No, I know. I thought it was going to be like you were Landon, just like, okay, this is going to be a cumbersome process.
Oh, you should have spoken first.
I know. Well, but you were going strong. I didn't want to.
It's on the
understand
website now.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't even, Tom, if you want to, I don't know if you can pull it up and we can even like check it out, but it literally 6 o'clock today, I got an email saying, yeah, they were able to add a little, so yeah, just a sort of a little tab at the bottom. It's in the footer of the website. So maybe it's easier. Yeah. So Tom, if you go all the way to the bottom of the page, see little letters down there? Yep.
I mean, that's what it is on like the hang up, like the other.
Oh, is it that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's either at the top, like top bar or bottom bar of the website. I'm like, I feel so dumb, but that's great. Whatever.
Yeah. So, you know, I think ideally, and when I talked to the IT director, I mean, we're not, he talked to one of the techs from Civic Plus, and he believes it's possible that there's an enhancement we could do to the program that it's more fully developed, maybe even similar to what like the Scituate School Department has, because I really like, I like that, how they've handled it. I'm not sure if we're not sure if there's additional expense associated with that, but we believe it probably is. As you can see right up top, English is like the drop down.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jamil alerted me to this. Well, it took me a couple days to respond to his email. I got busy last week, but I started looking into it today. You know, he told me about this, and I was like, "Wow, this is
right."
really cool.
Yeah, I guess that's a little bit more prevalent, like obvious on the website. Do you know, Bob, does the translation services though extend to the, like, you know, I subscribe to all like the alerts through the website. Yeah. Does it extend to those alerts?
No, I don't think, I wouldn't think so. I think this is just specific to the website. So like, you know, again, there's obviously many layers to this, but in terms of just the website, this would address that issue. Just in terms of on this matter, I was talking to the IT director about, if you go, Tom, if you can go back to this, the town of Scituate one, you know, even if you scroll all the way up to the top, Tom, it has like, you know, the how do I function, you know, can we put in there you know, how do I translate this page or something like that? I mean, maybe we can put just some verbiage on the top bar that basically says translation services, see below. I don't know. I mean, you know, so I think that there may be some things that we can do to try to make it a little bit more user friendly.
I wonder if that's just like a piece of code. I wonder if he can just move it to the top of the website. I wonder if that was a decision.
Sure. He tried. The tech tried, and he said he tried to put it on the top bar, but he wasn't able to, and that's why
too much going on already.
Is that how Hingham had done it? Was it on the bottom too?
I will double check. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So we just got an email from the town about the meeting next week, and it did not have the Google Translate option on the email, and that would have been an automatic generated email. Yeah. But it did say, if you want to read more, click here. You click there, you go to the Scituate website, which has the Google option on it. So it's a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know, Bob, what motivated the change? Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
What motivated this change?
Yeah, like
your email to me today.
No. That was, I motivated that email. More like, you know, just the coincidence of, hey, we were just talking about this today, and the IT director is like, oh yeah, it's going live at 6. Like,
no, I called him after your email. I called him and said, is this a function that we can easily do?
Oh, I missed
I think
that.
we had all, and he's like, I'm not really sure. And then So he emailed me back to say, yeah, this is easier than we thought. He didn't even think it was going to be easy. So
it's that easy.
I guess I was like, oh wow, he had this on his priority list.
Yeah,
What are the odds?
It wasn't on his radar, but you know, it seems like it was easily done.
Well, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up, Elena. That's a quick
No,
win.
That's like the quickest we've ever accomplished anything. Well done.
Yeah, like, how do we claim that as ours?
I know.
We didn't even vote on it. Don't tell anybody.
I know.
I feel like we should claim this as our win, and we should claim that Jamil, the work they're doing with the equity audit is also because of we've hired them to do that work. I think we should just give ourselves a whole lot of extra credit today.
Absolutely. No, this is all DEI stuff. This was.
I need the extra credit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Jamil sent me a teamwork emoji today, and I mean that's what this is. That's what this is. It's just people talking to each other.
That's amazing. You know, maybe even just like brainstorming here, like I'm imagining that translating the actual email alerts like that you get into your inbox could be like a potential, I don't know, who knows, maybe the guy will be like, oh yeah, I can do that too.
Yeah, right.
But even if anything, maybe just that there could be a boilerplate in those emails that could be like, hey, go to the town website to read more in your own language, like please more eloquently than I'm just saying it. But at least until we figure out how to make those alerts I don't, because I feel like with some websites or when you're logged into some websites, you can select your preferred language, right? And then like the website is in your preferred language, and then anything you get from that website is in your preferred language. Right. That's probably a little bit like, you know, a couple steps higher than where we're at right now, but at least you can have a boilerplate in that email, and at least they know, oh, I can go and read more about this on the website in my preferred language.
Right.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, when you go to, you know, sign up for your alerts, I think I'm just saying the same thing. You go to subscribe to news. You have to put in your email address, and that's probably it. I forget exactly. Well, it's right here. So if I say subscribe to news, your email, confirm your email, click, and you're done. A couple extra boxes, preferred language. Select 2, because you may have multi, you know, in your household, whatever. But I think that's something we need to take it to that step. Surely.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great too. Now, I know this, like, it just happens that we had it, but it would be great now to have an email alert that went out, preferably translated into our core languages, Portuguese, obviously, maybe Spanish. I don't know what the other ones would be in town off the top of my head.
There's 10.
That says these are the you know, you can go to, like, in these languages, you can have it on the town website, you can change the language, just so people are aware, because it's not been there and now suddenly it is, and it should probably have a little intro.
It's, you know, I wonder if every email that goes out from the town is actually somehow kind of present on the website, though, right? I mean, there could be an email that's just like, it's just the email and it's not, you know, there's no link to the website. In those cases, I think we'd have to, you know, consider.
Yeah, weather. I mean, weather alerts, I doubt go on the website.
Yeah, right.
Right. And
they may post it as an announcement on the website. I would expect almost 99.9% of the stuff ends up getting posted somewhere on that website if they've sent it out.
Right, and if it is, we have a system for people to easily translate. So maybe that's I can talk to. I think it's primarily when I talk to the select board and town administrator's office, to Lorraine and Michelle today, about how, you know, how the announcements and notifications go out. They basically explained to me that every department is responsible for their own web page. So the recreation department, if they're gonna make an announcement or make a change to something, that they're responsible for editing their own web page. But if it's a town-wide email, all of those, they may be written by the department. Say a water, you know, groundwater alert, it's written by the water department. Then it goes to the town administrator's office. Jim Boudreau would edit it and approve it, and then it's actually distributed by either Michelle or Lorraine. In those cases, I guess we can have a conversation with them. I guess I want to confirm whether or not those notifications are always put on the website. If they are, then we have an easy translation. If they're not, then we need to figure that out. But the other possibility, the other option, I think, is if it's not regularly put on the website, if we find a way to make sure they are put on the website, now we have a translation option for people.
I was just gonna say that the thunderstorm one from today is on the website because I opened my email, said click here for more.
You can see what I'm still looking at, right?
So
Yeah.
yes, that was the one that we just got about the water treatment plant. I think it just came out like a minute ago. It's already on the website.
Yeah. So they looks like they're all there.
Right.
So it could just be adding, yeah.
Well, it'd be having a link to whatever it is that just came out to go to the website, and information that people who do not speak English would understand that that's where they need to go to read it in another language. And I think that piece is kind of missing. If you can't read the English, you can't read the instructions to go, you don't really know about going to the website and changing it. So that
was my, I mean, if you're familiar and comfortable with the internet and you can read English, and even if English is not your primary language, having the Google Translate is a nice thing to have. But I think, looking at like the seniors in town that don't speak English, they're not very comfortable with the internet. So how do you get them to know that the internet now can be more, friendly to you because it's going to be in your language? So how do you promote that to someone who's not currently using the internet? So I think that's important to try to, make the folks in town aware of the feature on the website, because they're probably not utilizing the website now because it's all in English, and they might be walking into the town hall like my parents used to do. They would just walk in and pay their bills in cash. So maybe if there's, something posted at the town hall at the, a sign saying, in the different languages, you can do this, on the website, and it's easy to, to access, and, I think that's important.
And the senior center too should have a sign.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to communicate. The town is going to have to communicate that these services are available somehow, right? So, that's fantastic that it's up there now, but you got to go looking for it, right? It's still great, but so there's a handful of things that we can take offline and come up with that list. For we can start with Lorraine and Michelle, and then kind of just see where that goes.
Yeah, and I would like to just include the mailers.
Lillian, go ahead.
Sorry, Lillian.
Can I interject? Oh, sorry. Yes, we do see people come into the senior center that do speak other languages, but I'm thinking also to go in line with not only posting at the senior center, but also in the senior housing, because there are many there who don't come into the senior center regularly, or to know where they can go to see the postings. They're usually on the counter, and they might come in and bypass the counter and go off, with their group. So I think the senior housing also we should include for any notices.
It's a great idea. And I think maybe if we have those conversations with Lorraine and Michelle, we also include just topics on like the mailers, and what's the process there. Because I'm wondering if this went through whose office and the line at the top that we all don't love. So maybe there's a learning moment for the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Tom, you're gonna have to wasn't this your neighbor or friend who kept texting you?
Yeah, it's a lot of people know Anne-Marie. It's Anne-Marie Galvin who founded Facts in Scituate, and she knows a lot of people.
Got it.
But she told me, and I'm sure you know this, Jamil, but at a minimum, the first languages that are spoken within such Scituate public schools are Cape Verdean Creole, Spanish, French, Ukrainian / Turkish, Chinese, Portuguese, Arabic, Albanian, Vietnamese, Russian, and English. So 11.
I spoke to Anne Marie as well about that list. And what she didn't know is just how many really, if there was a sense of how many for each of those languages. And she was actually, I forget who it was at the school department that she spoke to, someone who works with the ESL department or programming, but I think she was going to reach out to that person again and see if they can get maybe some figures, a sense of like, you know, what are we talking about in terms of numbers. I actually have a meeting with Anne Marie on Thursday, so I'll check in with her again and see if she's found out anything else. It'd be helpful, I think, to get a sense of like, you know, what are the numbers, what numbers are we talking about? Although, you know, obviously it's not an entirely complete, an accurate reflection, but at least maybe gives us a sense, you know.
Okay. All right, so that's the quickest we've ever gotten out of the gate on one of our projects. So, so that's good. Feel pretty good about that. I don't have much of an update. Elena, I don't know if you had conversations offline. Elena, Celia, and I have been working on. Celia is basically our lead with investigating the hybrid remote town meeting. Right. So, and we have made progress. Multiple meetings, you know, with Cohasset. We've had some other internal meetings as well, investigating which towns have done what. It does look like a lot of it is symbolic right now until the state is able to allow it. Right. So even though, you know, I think Cohasset in their last town meeting, they voted to allow it, I still don't think they can necessarily vote remotely. So they're waiting on the state, and you know, we'll just leave that there for now. We're gonna continue to work on it, understand it better, what we can do. Reverend Stewart?
I just wanted to note that this topic came up at our last clergy meeting. And so I was just like really proud to be able to report that we were working on it, on top of it. So you do have the support of the clergy for changing our format to something that's more accessible to everyone. So excellent.
And actually, I was going to mention, we had a good meeting with Seth, and Seth really kind of helped explain, you know, some of the audio visual and technical challenges that we may or may not have in the future if we're able to go forward with this. But this one will probably have a long tail to it, but I definitely want to continue to look into it and at least get Scituate to a point where, you know, we could potentially be ready to go if we got the green light from higher up. Okay. What else? I mean, so Indigenous peoples, we touched on it. You know, we've already, you know, we've got the deck that we reviewed, which we'll look at again prior to any meetings with the select board. School is now in session. I've even been informed by my daughter that they're having discussions in her classroom about Columbus versus Indigenous Peoples Day. And I try to, you know, not be too preachy with her on that topic. But, you know, she's on board with us. So anyways, you know, the fact that Jamil, you mentioned that this, you know, the students are already, you know, galvanizing a bit. I mean, what I would suggest is, you know, I think that team was yourself, Ruth, Angela, myself. We should probably have a separate meeting, kind of get ourselves reorganized and figure out who else, you know, do we want to get Nicole Brandolini back involved? Do we want to, you know, get the students to start a petition? Because I think they have
started it. We need to see what's happening with it. Absolutely. And right. I need to touch base again with the student group, because again, they really wanted to get back in school before they dealt with things. And everybody knows how crazy it is the first couple of weeks. So exactly. I'm glad that we haven't been pushing too hard right now. It's good to let everybody kind of get back in, get settled. And I know they're very much interested in being active with this process as we go forward, and would like to have a seat at the table.
Exactly. And I think, Ruth, do you want to, give a quick update? Because I know you've been communicating with Joan Machino.
Well, Joan Moschino, yes. So for IP Day MA, we talked before that it had come out of committee. It was recommended to be, brought to the legislative bodies, but it did not get addressed before things shut down in August. And I guess when things shut down in August, they really shut down, and they're not starting back up till January. So anything that you're waiting for legislative action cannot happen before approximately January 5th or so from the preceding years. So, we talk about this thing with Cohasset, nothing's moving forward until they're back. They can have kind of informal meetings, but the IP Day MA will have to be reintroduced. It will get a new number. And, but the feeling from Joan Moschino is that it's very positive that it's gotten to where it is, and it is hopeful that it will be addressed during the next session. But that's January. I don't feel that we should be waiting for that. I feel that we can move forward with what we're doing in Scituate. A lot of it is a learning experience for people. Again, I think if you looked at the select board meeting, I think that when they first read our information, they were kind of shocked about Christopher Columbus, and that he was had so much negatives. People don't really even realize the history behind it. So I think that part of it is that we do continue forward in Scituate, and we don't have to wait for IP Day MA to go forward. I'd like for us to, hopefully to continue on in the fall after our town meeting, as we had discussed.
Okay. All right. Ruth, I know you wanted to bring up another topic. Do you want to bring it up now?
Yeah, I'd love to. So for other business, I was at another meeting at the library today, and Jesse Finney, the library director, was talking about going in front of the select board. I believe it's going to be September 19th. And one of the things she's proposing is to go fine free for overdue books. Again, they were fine free during COVID. And she would like to continue that. I guess 17 out of the 27 libraries in our library network are already fine free. Now, that doesn't mean if something is lost or damaged, that's not fine free. It's that you won't accrue overdue notices. And over time, really, it's gone lower and lower as far as how much revenue they make from it. But it is still, can be an expense for families who do not have extra money. Again, who's more likely to kind of lose track of the books? Oh, yes, as a mom of 4 kids, getting all those books back together. I mean, that was really hard at times, as well as senior citizens who, it's like, oh, I'm not too sure how many I took out or wherever. Now they've come a long way. And so that they now have automatic renewals, which is awesome. You get an email that's been automatically renewed, which is really wonderful. So their fines have gone down a lot. They are not taking in the money they used to take in before anyway. Plus there's a fair amount of work for the librarians to take care of all this fine business. I mean, it's a significant expense just to have people monitoring all of this. So she's going to propose to the select board that Town of Scituate go fine free. I felt it was a big equity issue, and that I would like to have our support for the library going fine free also. I don't know if we can vote on that, but just up to, we can discuss it because it was not on our agenda as an item whatsoever. So I don't think it's allowed for us to have a full vote on it, but we could opine and have those opinions made known.
What is Jess's objective getting in front of the select board? I mean, is her, and that's next week?
It's the 19th, whatever. Yeah, I guess so. Yep.
Yeah, next Monday. Okay.
Yep. Tuesday.
So is her objective to get in front of the select board, basically have them vote and say, okay, we're going to a no fine library system?
Yep. Yes, it is. And that was the documentation I sent to you, information she had sent to the select board about this. And this is something she's come up with before, and it has met with resistance. And it was like, well, if we can get some money out of this, we should. But I think when we look at it as an equity issue, the amount of money that they got last year was about $3,500. I mean, in the old days, it went up as high as $25,000. Right now, it is not that. And again, the people who are paying are often the people who at least have the wherewithal to do so. And it does make people think twice sometimes before checking up books, because they're concerned that they can't monitor it well enough to get it back in time. Again, this does not mean that if you lose a book, you don't have to pay for it. It's not, but it's this whole late system. You would not have to pay extra money for that.
I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer.
But we need people to say what their views are on it so we can tell them that it can be relayed to the select board what people feel about this.
I think it's a great idea. I agree with you, Ruth. I mean, it's the people, the senior citizens who end up in the hospital or something and aren't able to return them on time. Even with the automatic renews, you know, that helps, but still it's easier to lose track of them, or you know, if they end up in a nursing home for longer or something and it never gets returned because the family doesn't know, you know, until much later. It just reduces those sorts of stress and strains on those family members, as well as, like you said, I mean, I know I have a hard time keeping track of my kids' books. My daughter we live literally across the street from the library, so my daughter is in high school. She goes over by herself. I'm like, I don't know how many books you just took out, but just make sure you find them all and bring them back. But I limit my son, who's younger, you know, because I'm worried about keeping track of them and returning them on time and all of that. So I think it really serves an underserved population in multiple ways. I think it's a good idea. And they're not making enough money that it seems like it's worth it.
Lillian?
Yeah, I just, I agree to get rid of the fines because it does disproportionately affect people of lower income, you know, like single mothers, like someone mentioned, it might lose track if they have multiple kids and returning the book. And then also the seniors as well. Scituate does have a large population of seniors age 65 and older. So, you know, they could be in and out of the hospital or rehab, or just have memory difficulties. I think, 26.5% is a large population of people 65 and older for such a small community. So I would say when someone does talk to the select board, I would use data. I'm all about, you know, these are the reasons why, and any numbers and data that you can use, which I would definitely help pull something together because that's kind of my thing, would maybe help to get them to see why there's really not a benefit, to keep the fines.
So Lillian, that's a good segue, and I apologize because I should have asked you to do this at the outset. Could you actually formally introduce yourself to the rest of the committee? And I have a decent idea of what you do, but that's because I'm nosy. But
okay,
that'd be great.
Yeah, I'm Lillian Cruz. I am the transportation coordinator for the Council on Aging. So I work out of the Scituate Senior Center, and I've been there for almost a year. November 2nd, I think, would be a year that I've been there. I've worked with seniors for almost 30 years, or about 30 years, in various different capacities. And I thought I'd be great for this committee because I'm all about equity and diversity and inclusion. And early on in coming to the senior center, I noticed that transportation wasn't very equitable for some of the seniors. They had trouble accessing it and able to, excuse me, blah, blah, blah. They were having trouble accessing our vans in order to come into the senior center and be involved in activities or to get their medical appointments. So I actually transformed the whole services that we do. I put in all of these new initiatives that actually No other council on aging does right now what we do as far as providing transportation rides. I recruited van volunteers to assist the seniors that we have that have dementia, to assist people who have vision impairment, to make sure they could get on and off the van safely. And also people that are the oldest old, which is 85 and older. And there's quite a few people like that in Scituate. And so that's like a new initiative. We have 7 van volunteers now that we use. And also for people who don't have family support that are going for medical procedures that they're put under anesthesia, we would have to deny them in the past, but now they can ride the van because they have someone that can help them. And also provided transport wheelchairs, we provide. So if they have knee issues and can't climb up the steps, now they could get on the van. So I'm all about diversity and inclusion, and our ridership is up 40%. And like I said, no other COA actually says, yes, we have the escorts that will go with you. Yes, we can provide a wheelchair. We do same day service. And someone asked me today, well, tell me about where I can go and where I can't go. And I said, I'll make it very easy for you. And she said, okay, do I need to write this down? And I said, no, it's very simple. You'll remember this. This is where you can go. Anywhere you want to go and anywhere you would like to go, you call me and you're going to go there, because I feel like every senior should be able to go where they want to go, when they want to go. That's it. That's all you need to remember. So, so that's a little bit of what I do.
So happy that you're on our committee.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I come from a human service background, so I'm about the data. And that's how I got the initiatives passed. So I basically went to Director Linda Hayes and said, you know, with like graphs and data, and this is why we need these initiatives, and these are the clients. I did case studies. These are the clients we're turning away and why, and this is what we need to do. So I think we should approach the library fine system the same way.
Well, that's fantastic. And I think that is how Jess Finney approached.
She does. She has
right?
charts and things that
I did send me some pretty detailed information. Yeah. So
Jamil's hand is up. Tom?
Oh, go ahead.
That was fantastic. All I wanted to do was just throw another nugget your way and suggest you get in contact with, if you haven't met her yet, Megan Summers, who is the chair. I think it's the chair of the president. I think it's the chair of the COD, the Committee on Disabilities. Yep. And she has a whole bunch of resources. I think the two of you be an incredible dynamic duo. So absolutely. There are many people who know Megan on their screen too. So you should absolutely connect with her.
Yeah, she's great.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to the committee, Lillian. I actually was at the select board meeting when you interviewed for the DI committee. And it was really interesting to hear you speak, and I'm happy to see your passion about DEI. So I think you're a wonderful addition to the committee. Thank you. Welcome.
I looked for it. I couldn't find it. Was that like a month ago?
It was the end of August.
Okay. Well, regardless. Yeah, I heard through other channels, so that we were very lucky to be getting Lillian Cruz on our committee. So welcome. It's fantastic. The more the merrier. All right.
So can I tell Jessie Finney that we are unanimously in favor, even though we cannot take an official vote at this time because we weren't posted. And she knows that, but that we highly support, and that she can mention that. I'll also contact Maura. So Bob, any chiming in you can do is good. Anything else you can suggest for how we support this for the select board, since we can't actually vote it?
Well, no, I mean, I think that's really kind of what Jesse was looking for, just a sort of endorsement from the committee. So that's helpful. Just one more piece just for her to fill out. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll email her tomorrow with that. I'll CC you and Maura, Bob. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay. No, that's great. Thank you for bringing that up. So Lillian, I mean, that's how we kind of move forward on a lot of these things. And like I said, invitations open if you want to catch up offline.
And I'll send Lillian I'll pull together some of those documents that we have. Tom, could you send her our in-flight progress
Yeah, I need to update it
notes,
first.
because I think that's kind of what we have been working on the most are the things that have been listed there, but
Yep.
we do like pull things in from time to time and get moving on those. Exactly.
We try to tackle, I mean, it seems like, you know, we've kind of hit our stride like the last, let's say 6-8 months. And I think typically we have, let's say 3 or 4 projects in flight. And, you know, it's just, you raise your hand if you want to jump into you don't have to jump in on every project. You kind of can't, because we're governed by open meeting laws. And I think now we're going to be back up to 8, right? So we can have, you know, groups of 4 meet. Ruth always keeps me honest, but we can have groups of 4 meet offline and so forth if you're a voting member. And I believe you are a voting member. So, you know, so we have to be careful of that. It took us a while to kind of get our arms around that, but yeah, 3 or 4 different projects in flight. And then when we get them to a point where we can take them in front of the select board, we do that. And they can either enact it right away or send us back, say you need to do more due diligence and what have you. So, and then some things like translating the website just happen like that because Bob Clark makes a phone call. So that's always good too, right? So anyways.
Preferred method of solving our problems.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. All right. Any other topics anybody wants to bring up tonight?
I wanted to update everyone on the Cape Verde sister city. The select board has had several meetings, interviews. So the committee is almost 90% formed. There's 8 of us on the committee. So we'll be having our first meeting September 22nd. The Scituate Historical Society is already talking to us about doing an event in November. So look out for more to come on that, but we're really excited about it. And so wanted to share that with everyone.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's still 2 open positions on the committee. I think there's a few people that will be sending in applications, but if you know anyone that's interested, you don't have to be of Cape Verdean descent. Just, you know, be someone who's interested in learning about the culture and sharing it with the community. Yeah.
Jamil.
You answered my question. I was just interested in it because it was just great from the beginning. And so it's just good to hear the update on it. That was all. Relative to that, sort of, I did have a question for folks. Does Scituate have because I haven't been able to locate it, a cultural council or a cultural district, art association, something?
There's the Scituate Arts Association, SAA, as well as there's the Cultural Council. They're 2 distinct bodies.
Okay. And is there also a cultural district? Because some towns have a cultural council and a cultural district.
I don't have a cultural district, but again, I'm trying to think what would be, there's the, and I will struggle with the name of it. Okay, Tom, you may come up with it before I do, or maybe Bob. We have an organization that promotes Scituate.
The historical?
The virtual Welcome to Scituate kind of, because we don't really have a Welcome to Scituate place, but we have a committee that does it and they put out things periodically.
There is a historical commission.
Actually, Lorraine just stuck her head in. There is say it again?
There is a Scituate Harbor Cultural District.
Scituate Harbor Cultural District.
And Scituate Cultural Council.
And a Scituate Cultural Council.
Oh, okay.
According to Lorraine.
Much better, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
There's also like a welcome committee kind of thing. They put up those signs that say like Scituate is open for business. And I should know this because one of my parishioners is on it, and I am totally blanking on the name as well, Ruth, but you're right. There's like another, like.
Yeah, like the
Visitors
chamber.
Association, visitors, something Scituate visitors.
Yeah,
I
something
think
about
something
the
like that,
visitors.
yeah.
Yeah, Scituate visitors or tourists.
But again, it sounds like we came up with a lot of different ones, and maybe it's a cultural council.
There's the Chamber of Commerce puts out those signs. And then, what was the other
Scituate
one?
Visitor Center, I think, is what I was reaching for.
I think,
But I
yeah,
think we
I
might be
that's-
closer in, Jamil, with the ones that Lorraine gave you.
And there's the Economic Development Council as well, so.
Yes. Which I know the Visitor Center works with a great deal.
Right.
And the only other thing was the idea I wanted to, you're the first folks I'm throwing this out at, just because I really was thinking about doing it. But, and it's based off of something that Julie Ward did this summer, which is, I was thinking about doing like, I don't know if it would be nightly or once a week or something like that, doing like a probably through Facebook, an invitation for folks to hear a bedtime story kind of thing. I probably would, we can have guest readers, but I probably would just start it, and it would just have all kinds of different bedtime stories from different pluralistic backgrounds and things like that could just, again, just be bedtime stories for folks to tune into if they want to, probably like around 6:30 before kids go to bed or something like that. Folks are just tuning in. I don't know. It's just an additional way to reach out.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Love it.
I'd read a story, but I would say do it more like 7:30 because a lot of kids are still in activities at 6:30 or you're having dinner.
Okay. All right, I'll keep you posted. Okay.
Love the
I
idea.
would do it. I would do it as well.
Nice. Okay.
So there you go. You don't have to do it all yourself, Jamil. All right. Anything else? Okay, so we see our next few meetings on here. As always, if people can't make meetings, send me a note. I think at this point our membership is pretty darn solid. So hopefully we won't have the situations where we don't hit our quorums. It can continue forward with these next 3 meetings, and then we'll work on our 2023 calendar in due course. But all right, with that, I would move to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Gulata,
Yes.
Ms. Yassine,
Yes.
Reverend Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Dre,
Yes.
Ms. Cruz,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So with that, the meeting is adjourned at 7:39 p.m.